As the BJP taking off from what the Prime Minister said in Mumbai, a sharp attack coming on the Congress party on the UPA government for its inaction after 26/11, the dastardly attack in Mumbai by Pak-backed terrorists. The Prime Minister there reminding the Congress party of what Mr. P. Chidambaram, the former Home Minister of the country, had said in a recent interview about how India was ready, but it was external pressure that stopped us from taking any action against Pakistan. That's something that the Prime Minister has raked up now. Anand Narasimhan, my colleague, joins us. Aman is also with us on this broadcast. Anand, this is significant also because this comes at a time when the Congress has been, turning the tables, attacking the Modi government, of surrendering to Donald Trump and the United States in the aftermath of Operation Sindoor and brokering that truce with Pakistan. At such a time, the Prime Minister there making that exact same attack against the Congress party.
Well, the fact is, Poonam, good evening, and even as Aman is with us, one must remember, Bharat did not try and did not cow down or bow down to the wishes of the Americans. It was the Pakistanis who folded. And it was a Pakistani DGMO who picked up the phone and said, we would like to call a truce. And that's what happened. And this is something which is on record, irrespective of what Trump claims. So if a Congress is continuing to tom-tom or trying to use what the Pakistanis or what a foreign narrative is, that's on the Congress party. But yes, the messaging is true. Who succumbed and who didn't? Who backed off and who didn't? Who stood up to the adversary and who avenged Pahalgam and who didn't avenge 26/11 Mumbai. The BJP and the Prime Minister have also said that those terror infrastructures of Bahawalpur and Muridke were long pending demolitions that had to happen because of the 2001 Parliament attack and the 26/11 Mumbai attacks. And that's again what the Prime Minister is trying to underline, saying this is not a government and this is not a leadership that backs off because a third nation tells you to back off. And if somebody did, and he's quoted a Congress leader, he said it's a Congress leader who said at that time the forces were ready, Bharat wanted to strike, but there was international pressure and a nation bared down upon us and our leaders backed off. So who bared down and who backed off is a question the Prime Minister has left, saying they must answer. And who backed off and why? But this is not a nation that backs off. We didn't back off. Operation Sindoor is just on a pause because the Pakistanis said, and very clearly the Prime Minister saying, we have gone ahead and shown to the world that Bharat will not back off. A third nation coming to bear down upon us will not be tolerated. Again, a message being sent perhaps to Mr. Donald Trump and the United States. Look, on a day when the British Prime Minister is there with the top 20 business heads and wanting to do business in Mumbai, very clearly, Bharat is not a dead economy and Bharat is not a nation that is going to try and succumb to international pressure. And over the last many months, Bharat has been not just standing up to that pressure, but also ably trying to showcase that we are going to continue to pursue our interests. Now, at various levels, the Prime Minister's messaging is very, very serious and very, very important, because it's not just to the Congress party. It's also trying to tell the people there is a difference between 2008 and 2025.
Absolutely, and that distinction has been made very clear, Aman, multiple times in the past as well by the Modi government. Several terror attacks later, several intrusions later by Pakistani side, and the UPA government did not act for years together, which is why the BJP has also been maintaining that the UPA is not the one to lecture the BJP on how Pakistan or foreign policy should be handled.
Well, Poonam, see, after the Mumbai 26/11 attacks, this was a big mystery that why did not India act? This was one of the most dastardly terrorist attacks on India.
Sorry to interrupt you there, Aman. I'll come back to you. Ujjwal Nikam is with us on the phone line. So thank you so much for speaking with us here on CNN News 18. You've heard what the Prime Minister said. This was taking off from what the ex-Home Minister of the country, P. Chidambaram, had said about how India was ready to act against Pakistan in a decisive manner after 26/11, but there was international pressure and that the United States told us to stand down. How do you react?
Mr. Modi ji has rightly said, based on the confession of the then Home Minister of India, Mr. Chidambaram ji. Now we had to consider, because I have the personal experience of the 26 November terror attack on the Mumbai. I conducted a trial, 166 people were died, and so many persons were injured. And Pakistan did not act upon it. So we had a good chance to retaliate in the same manner like an Operation Sindoor. Now, the then Home Minister of the Government of India, Mr. Chidambaram ji, has confessed. I would say this is called a confession, and he has confessed in a very strict words that he was willing to attack, and in fact he tried to convince his bosses, but unfortunately his party, Congress party, did not act upon it. So you see, that is the why the Pakistan terrorist group had some moral courage that India is doing nothing, India is not acting anything against our terror attack also. And that is what the subsequent attacks had taken place. So I think our Prime Minister, Mr. Modi ji, has rightly said that this is the position of a Congress party, and Congress party making the doubts as to who has killed Karkare, how the terror, this is all, I think, the political nonsense being made by the Congress party. So I must give credit to Mr. Chidambaram ji. He has shown that much courage to admit the guilt, and I will invite the Congress party also to admit their guilt.
But do you think that will actually happen? Because right after that controversy broke out over his comments in a recent interview, Mr. P. Chidambaram too recanted. He went back and said that my comments are being misconstrued, and I didn't say that we didn't act because of US pressure. Do you think the Congress will actually come back and see what is the reality here?
Mr. Chidambaram ji is a senior lawyer, and when he speaks with all responsibilities, now because of his political party must have asked him to take this U-turn, therefore he must be taking now U-turn. But the fact remains that the Congress-leading government did not react what we have expecting. See, that is why the terrorist people, now at present I am in the New York also, I am attending the United Nations one assembly session. I am interacting with the certain delegates also. So it's a very sorry state of affairs. That therefore, I always say that political parties must have courage that our country is first. But unfortunately, nothing has happened in the past. So I must give the credit to Modi government, and that is the why Mr. Modi ji has rightly said yesterday.
And Mr. Nikam, I just want to ask you one last question before I let you go. Like you said, you've also been personally involved with the 2611 case. You've seen what happened in terms of the investigation, in terms of the legal battle that went on up close. Do you think that there was a cause for concern over the attitude that was shown towards the Pakistani terrorists that came into India and killed Indians in cold blood?
Of course, certainly. That is the reason as to, in fact, I had been to Islamabad after the execution of Ajmal Amir Kassam, and we asked the Pakistani authorities also very clearly in their home ministry also. We 4 members official delegation went to Islamabad. We had a long discussion with the Pakistani authority. We asked them, can you prosecute the perpetrators of the terror attack? They said, where is the evidence? Then I examined David Headley through video link in Mumbai court, and we have furnished the substantial evidence. In spite of that, Pakistani authority did not act upon the terrorist people. And that is the reason as to why their moral courage was encouraged, and that is why the Operation Sindoor, we were constrained to take place.
Right. Had India stepped in back then, perhaps we wouldn't have seen a Pahalgam attack. Perhaps an Operation Sindoor wouldn't have been necessary at all if we had shown Pakistan its place back in 2008. That's something that the Prime Minister also alluded to. Ujjwal Nikam, thank you so much for speaking with us here on CNN News 18.